What's up, guys? How's it going? MikeTheTech here, and today we're going to play with Destructibles in Unreal Engine. We're going to do an intro to Destructibles, but I think I'm going to go over most of what you'll need to start making destructible environments in your games. So first off, we're going to create a new project, and I'm going to go ahead and leave everything as is, except I'm going to include starter content. And I'm going to call this Destructibles. Alright, so I'm going to choose the first person template because I want to be able to shoot the destructible, because that's, let's face it, what most people want to do. And we'll create the project. Now, as of Unreal Engine 4.18, the Apex destruction system is no longer included in the Unreal Engine base package, so you do have to install a plugin to get access to that, which we will do as soon as this loads up. Alright, so now we're in the editor, but we don't have Apex enabled yet. So we're going to go over here to Settings and go to Plugins. And we're going to go down to Built-in Plugins. And you can either search up here or simply scroll down for Apex Destruction. Hit Enable. And it'll say Unreal Editor must be restarted for the plugin changes to take effect. So you'll have to restart the plugin and restart the editor. So you hit Restart now. And we wait for the program to load again. Hopefully a little bit faster, since this should still be in the memory. Yep. Alright, so we can safely close this. We now have Apex Destruction enabled. So the first thing I'll show you is how to create a destructible mesh. So let's open up Blueprints. We'll go to Content, we'll go to, let's say, Geometry, Meshes, and we see that we have a 1 meter cube. We can use that one, or we can actually go down and choose Basic Shapes and drag a cube over here, and choose Copy here. So now we have a cube. If we drag this cube in, it works just like any other object. There's no physics on it, but we could hit Simulate Physics and it would fall. If I go over here and hit Simulate and hit Play, that'll fall. So it's just a regular mesh. So we'll delete that. Now we want to create a destructible mesh, so we're going to right click on this and choose Create Destructible Mesh. And you'll see that another one is created with _DM after, and you'll be given this window. So let's open up the window, and you can kind of see a cube here, and that is our mesh. Now we can hit Fracture Mesh, and we'll see it break, and we can view the explode amount by dragging this. This isn't setting an amount to a certain number, this is just viewing it, so you can select specific chunks when you're configuring your destructible actor. So this is kind of neat to visualize how many chunks it's going to fall into. We also have our preview depth. So if we go back to preview depth 0, there's no explode amount. Preview depth 1, there is an explode amount. Now, Unreal Engine only comes with these two by default, but if you use the actual physics software, you can create, I think up to 5, I heard up to 5 layers of depth. Import I almost said Facebook because I saw FB. Import FBX chunks. That's in the physics software as well. If, for example, we wanted to create a brick explodable or destructible mesh, we can go in and actually show what the individual breaks are supposed to look like, so that you can see bricks falling and not these triangular chunks. So anyway, yeah, so we've fractured the mesh. So we have 2 layers of depth. We'll go back to depth 0. And now we have all these parameters. So the first one I'm going to show you, actually let's go into the fracture settings first, because I think it makes more sense to teach you about these first. This is how you choose how many pieces the mesh will break into. So right now it's set at 25, but if I set this to 200, for example, and click on fracture mesh again, now when I do the explode amount, there's way more pieces. Try not to go too crazy with that number, because if you do go over like maybe like 1,000, 2,000, it's gonna be very resource heavy. But sure, let's leave that at 200 for now, just because it'll look nice. We also have random seeds. So if I don't like the way this looks, for example, if we're using a shaped mesh and parts just look like they're broken and parts that shouldn't break, we can choose a random seed. So we can actually put in 5, for example, and refracture it, and now it looks different. So yeah, that's what fracture settings are for. If we open up these, we can scale the UV. So for example, with that brick example, if the bricks weren't quite lining up to the material, you can scale it here and make it work. Most of that is for just material offsetting and adjustment. So quickly moving up to these pieces. So we have a damage threshold and damage spread. So damage threshold is how much damage it takes to cause a piece to break free. That's not the whole thing, that's just one piece. So 1.0 of damage will break that piece off. Damage spread is how much that will spread around the area that got hit. So when this piece breaks, these ones around it should take a smaller amount of damage. So by default, that's set to 0.1, so 10% of the damage that was originally taken. Impact damage will mean if we run into the object, it will break into pieces. So actually, let's pause here, let's hit save, and let's try this out. So we're going to get our destructible mesh and place it into our level and hit play. Now it is currently in one piece, and if I run into it, now there's a lot of pieces. Whoa, sorry for the sound effect. I forgot about that. I always do that. Okay, and if we raise it up a little bit and hit play, oops, we didn't add physics, sorry. Let's click on it and go down to simulate physics, and now we'll hit play, and it broke into pieces. Took a couple bounces, but it did some damage. So that is how to make a destructible mesh. Now we're running on a little bit past 8 minutes, so we're going to pause it here, and in the next episode I will show you how to be able to shoot a destructible mesh to break it, as well as how to make individual pieces break without destroying the entire mesh. So stay tuned, and the next video will be out shortly. Peace.